Alright, what is going on, guys? Spiteful back again, coming at you with 1,000 Year Blood War Top 10. Now, keep in mind, this list is my opinion. It's not facts, as you see in the title. I like stirring up a little controversy. It is what it is, man. So people were asking about it, and I did notice that Apocalypse did post this 5 hours ago. I was asleep, and I wanted my poll to get some votes before I posted it. That being said, I posted this unfortunately before I realized who I was missing in my list. So 11th place will go to Banken by default. I put Yachiru here because like I didn't want people to get too salty. Honestly though, like whatever, it is what it is. I also did this poll over here. I noticed Apocalypse posted his should I still post mine? It got 100 votes. Like 100 votes, and it's just like, alright, 94% yes, 6% no. Alright, cool. And I did like this comment. No, probably gonna end up doing it, so whatever. Yo, Marcus, you smart man, man. You smart man. So, moving on. 10th on the list will go to Shunsui. Now, keep in mind, these characters are literally the best characters in the game, and this list isn't specifically just for PvP, PvE, but I'm also thinking about autoing, I'm also thinking about co-op, I'm also thinking about various factors. So I'm trying to all encompass everything. Now this list, I didn't even want to, honestly I was thinking about making this list, and I'm just like, part of me didn't want to do it simply because I have always, and you can go to like my top 5 PvP characters list, guys. I always separate characters, right? I always separate characters on SAD, NAD, and SAR. Not even NAD, SAD, and SAR. I keep like the SP characters to one lane and the NAD characters to the other, because they both do very well in their own regards. Now, that being said, this is not about which character is the most fun, because I think that it'd be obvious that Shunsui would definitely be in there. With his second strong, well, it would be obvious that Shunsui would be ranked a lot higher if that was the case. Now, let's go into this character. Now keep him. Oh, this song. A lot of people were asking what song I was using. Guys, I use Grandma Destruction and Emile Despair very regularly. The Cowboy Jr. is for the dude that charged back, or one of the old donators. Honestly, you disrespect Cowboy's name, bro. Anyways, moving on. Speed, right? He's a speed unit. He's good for guild quests. Good for all right. Shunsui's pretty good at almost everywhere in the game. He's a little slower than Toshiro and Rukia. Honestly, back in the day when Toshiro was released, man, I would literally send Toshiro against Shunsui's for fun. Like, that's how I had my fun in PvP. Literally do a SP team, kill my opponents in literally less than a second. I would run Toshiro, Shunsui, and full bring Ichigo. That was my old PvP team. Now, moving on, let's go into his stats. 737 spiritual pressure, a little on the low side for the 1,000 Year Blood War characters. Keep in mind, guys, that he was released in the first batch, so that's not even a bad thing, honestly. Less than 1,000 stamina, a little on the low side for me personally. 646 attack, a little on the high side for a frenzy character. 360 defense on the high side, 335 focus on the average side. Soul Reaper Captain, strong attack damage link. Allows him to deal extra damage, especially with his Frenzy. Frenzy essentially doubles damage. Havoc, increased strong attack area of effect. His strong attack 3 is a full screen attack with a 2367 melee damage magnifier. Keep in mind that that's a little on the low side, I think, if I remember correctly. Let me go to like Rukia. 2387, Yoruichi, 2455, but this is like a whole new territory. Well, what are your mags at, sweetie? 2344. Alright. Where is Shunsui? There we go. Yeah, so as you can see, a little on the lower side. No, it is a full screen, so it still deals a lot of damage. You'll see the magnification here for his second strong attack is 160. Keep in mind that you will almost never be able to pull off the entire magnification for this. The only way to really do this is to do this against bosses that are online. Right, that are online co-op, because you can't push back enemies, so you literally get up next to them, use your second strong attack, deal massive amounts of damage. I believe that this strong attack without a tension tie deals more damage than your special, which is bonkers, especially for like extreme co-op, inheritance zone. A lot of times I'll literally just go up to the boss, use my second strong attack, and the boss is near dead. A lot of strategy that we use for extreme co-op is literally get up next to the boss with 2 Shunsuis, use our second strong attack, completely annihilate the boss within 1 hit, and then we move on to the next boss room. We save specials that way, we save lives that way, and yeah, devastation, special move damage 40%. That is that's standard, honestly, for these frenzy characters. He does have a holo killer, which makes him good in PvE. It's kind of lackluster in PvP, honestly, because there's not really many holos. The only holos that you'll see are White Zangetsu, Flutter Aizen, and I'm trying to think if there's any more. And I believe that's the only one, which is honestly kind of sad. But yeah, I mean, that's Shunsui for you. 5% death probability. Keep in mind that the 5% death probability is per hit, right? So he'll deal a massive amounts of damage regardless. 6,497 melee damage, 150% magnification, almost as strong. You see how it's like almost as strong as the second strong attack. But yeah. Oh, honestly, his special, that 5% probability, gets amplified. It has approximately 10 hits, I think, something like that. So I want to say that the probability of death is somewhere around the ballpark of 8 to 12%. I'm not really good with probability. Keep in mind, guys, probability is multiplicative, not additive. When you do 100 singles at a 3% rate, you're still not guaranteed a character. Every single one of those singles is a 3% rate. But as it goes up, it's multiplicative. So for example, if you flip a coin, and this is what I love telling people. When you flip a coin, heads or tails, right? Just because you did it twice, you have a 50-50 chance of it landing on heads. If you flip it twice, you could still get tails twice. You have a 75% chance of landing heads on the second flip. No, on any flip of those two flips. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. If not, you guys need to go to statistics, because it'll help you in the long run. Believe me. Okay. So, the Havoc is definitely very good. The Bruiser is okay. His Nat is actually incredible, in my opinion. With Long Reach and Bruiser, his Nat is actually usable. I personally don't really use it as much unless I'm doing guild quests and I really need to get that last hit off before I take damage. Devastation 40%, we already went over that. And overall, yeah, I mean, that's Shunsui. He's a gorgeous character. His strong attacks look amazing. Definitely one of the most beautiful specials in the game. Now, 9th on the list, and it's not by much, honestly. Rukia. Now, Rukia doesn't flow as well as Shunsui in PvE, in my opinion. That being said, she has a lot of benefits to her that just edges her out. Now, we're going to get into this. She's a Soul Reaper, so she doesn't have the captain disadvantage when it comes to PvP from, like, Unohana, Yamamoto. Like, she still has attribute disadvantage against Yamamoto, don't get me wrong. But with that captain killer, she's taking 40% less damage in PvP, guys. Increased strong attack damage 20%. Makes her just a good powerhouse character. 745 spiritual pressure. If I go to Shunsui, 737. She already has a little bit more. 1,046 stamina. A lot more stamina. She actually hits the 1,000 stamina threshold and destroys it. 648 attack on the high side. 357 defense, a little on the high side, and 345 focus on the high side as well. Keep in mind that she is an Arankar killer, which makes her not only better in PvP, in my opinion, but the fact that her Strong Attack 3 has one of the fastest, if not the fastest, activation times in the game. Second only to, I think, Halloween Yoruichi. You guys can correct me on that in the comments if you guys know better. You might. I never pretend to be perfect. I don't think I'm better than anybody. This is my opinion, guys. So, Strong Attack 2. Doesn't deal as much damage as Shunsui's. That being said, she has the probability to freeze with each one of these attacks. With Frenzy, this 2% freeze goes up to approximately, I want to say 4 to 8%. It's kind of hard to really tell with all the hits. The Strong Attack 2 is kind of like, it's like a Vortex. Unfortunately, the thing with the Vortex is you're forced to stay still, like stay in place for a little longer than I would have liked. Her Strong Attack 1 is a lunge, which is, in my opinion, I love lunge Strong Attack 1s. They make life hell of a lot easier. If you remember Lost Agent Toshiro, his lunge for his Strong Attack 3 was probably one of the best in the game for his time. And now, we're at the point in the game where the power creep is so strong that this is now the Strong Attack 1 for most of these characters. That's insane, guys. Like, the progression in this game, even though we feel like there's nothing really going on, like, the evolution is just crazy. Special attack, freeze probability is 100%, full screen radius. Not only that, but she gets a walking vortex around her for approximately, I want to say like 5 to 10 seconds. I never really actually like timed it myself. I never really cared to. Usually she deals so much damage that they're dead anyways. But as you can see here, the 100% probability to freeze, but she also has Debilitator, so that freeze will last for 10 seconds, which is crucial for PvP, in my opinion. Not only that, but all of her strong attacks and her normal attacks, if she does freeze, they're frozen for 7 seconds, which it honestly, it could be the difference between life and death, especially in a place like co-op, right? Now, moving on to 8th on the list. This is going to trigger. I already know this list is going to trigger people. Now, Sajin. Oh, Sajin. I love you, Sajin. Now, my issue with Sajin isn't because he didn't really last as long as I would have hoped. For having Flurry, he still deals a massive amount of damage. Using your special first when his special deals absolutely no damage is usually the way to go. His last hit has a massive amount of range, making him one of the most protected Flurry characters in the game. Second only to Yachiru Unohana herself, which you guys already know who's first or second on the list, right? Like, I don't think that's anybody's surprise. Okay, so he is a mind unit. My issue with him being mind, originally, guys, like before he came out, I literally said we should get like a mind or heart unit with Flurry. Unfortunately, what I never really took into account was a lot of the hardest content in the game, such as Inheritance Zone, Extreme Co-op. Mind units will always be taking a lot more damage, which is why I would run Grimmjow in Extreme Co-op every now and then, because with the 20 DR, he's a little bit more protected. It makes up for his mind attribute, his mind disadvantage against the heart units that you're going up against. Now, he is a Soul Reaper and Captain Killer. Unfortunately, he is good in PvP. The problem is the current meta is literally this hija de la gran puta, tu sabes, like, she is just, man. And she is Captain Killer, so my poor little Sajin feels like he's like in a country where they cook up dogs for dinner. Like, it feels bad, man. It just feels bad. 1030 stamina on the high side, 762 attack, incredibly high attack, one of the highest in the game, 616 SP. You're probably gonna chappy him anyways, but his SP isn't bad. His strong attacks are actually pretty cool to look at. They don't really deal as much damage as I would like. That being said, like, he's not a frenzy unit. His Berserker is only 30% instead of 40. Defense 350 on the high side, low focus, which is honestly, like, focus is more or less a throwaway stat for the most part. He does have a Spada Killer, which was good back in the day when you were actually like seeing Noitoras in PvP, when you were seeing Siloporos in PvP, because Speed Siloporo came out soon after, I believe a couple weeks after this Sajin. Now, he does have Sprinter, which makes him a good Flurry candidate. I love my Flurry characters with Sprinter, makes them a lot more fun to play with. I don't really like Nad. That's never been my thing. I'm more of a strong attack recharge character, more of a strong attack recharge player, in my opinion, just because you're protected when you use a strong attack, right? When you're using a strong attack, you're also dealing a lot of damage when you're using frenzy characters, and you're pumping out strong attacks like no one's business. So not only are you protected, but you're dealing damage. So me personally, that's what I prefer. He does have Flurry, he does have Poise, which is good. I love Poise on him. Berserker 30% and Long Reach 15%. So with his special, as you can see here, like, transformed, once you use your special, you're transformed until the end of the game, well, until the end of the run, excuse me. Now, as you can see here, the damage is still the same, but the range is completely different. Like, the first 3 hits are the same, but the last hit, and the last hit is what's crucial. The last hit, you're a lot more protected. So you can do like your 3 NAD hits and then like turn around and do your last NAD hit and then deal massive amounts of damage to whatever you're trying to go against if you're trying to like stay a little bit protected. Especially in a thing like Inheritance Zone or Extreme Co-op, when you're going against a boss that could one-shot you or just deal massive amounts of damage. Like I said, you're going against heart units most of the time when it comes down to that. Now, Strong Attack 3 is not, like, as you can see here, he doesn't have any full screen, but he does have guard break on all of his attacks. So honestly, like, he's pretty good. I think he's good for autoing. That being said, I don't think he's good for autoing Inheritance Zone or Extreme Co-op unless you have a gold chappy and 10-10-10 slots. And yeah, I mean, that's Sajin. Alright, moving on to the next character, Renji. Now, I did not have the pleasure of pulling this character, but I can attest to his dominance in terms of power units. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, where's Toshiro? Well, Toshiro is a lot higher on the list, and that's for other reasons, so we'll get into that in a second. Now, let's go into his stats. 1059 stamina on the high side, 751 spiritual pressure on the high side, 652 attack. On the high side, 652 is like unheard of for a character with Frenzy. Like, shout out to Brave Souls FYI, your update to your site is insane. So I'll type in Frenzy, and you see all the characters with Frenzy over here. Now I'll go to the highest attack with Frenzy. Like, you have Yachiru, Koga, Mashiro, Tetsuzaima, and Sajin. Now these characters are trash, bro. Like, look how low their SP is. Like 640. So let's go to the first one. As you can see here, 653 attack for Yoruichi. She does have a strong attack damage link. But then it comes Renji with 652 attack with 751 spiritual pressure. Keep in mind that Yoruichi did come out 4 to 5 months after this Renji. So, like, obviously she's going to be edging out in terms of, like, stats. It's just power creep. That's how it works, guys. Now, moving on. Defense 350, about average. A little on the higher side. And 328 focus, about average. Strong attack recharge link. I love strong attack recharge links, guys. He is also an Arankar killer, so I personally, like, if I had Renji, I would switch off between him and Toshiro. Though the thing that I love about Toshiro is just his range in general. Now his strong attack 3 is a charged strong attack, if I remember correctly. How can I see if it's a charge? I don't even know. Alright, special attack, full screen radius, 5% death probability. Same thing with Shunsui. I already went over the whole probability mechanic. Like, it's not necessarily a 5% chance for the entire hit. It's a 5% chance of death per hit. Okay, so he does have Frenzy. He does have Havoc, makes his range a lot better. Long reach and Bruiser of 20%. That's not bad. Makes his NAD usable. Like I said, this Renji is definitely one of the best characters in the game. And guys, we're getting up to the parts where it's just like, these characters are literally all good in their own right. It's just having to order them, I'll admit, was probably one of the most difficult things. And like, I was legitimately stressed out. Like, I'm like, why? Like why are these characters so good? Like, why can't you just have like a garbage character for me to like throw onto the list, you know what I'm saying? Alright, moving on. Where is my Renji-sama? There we go. So, like, he does have Frenzy, and that's pretty much all I really have to say about him. Like, he's definitely a good character. He's not a captain, so he edges out when it comes down to like inheritance zone when they have Captain Killer and stuff like that. So, moving on to next on the list, and this is gonna trigger some people. All right, let's see, where is it? There we go, Toshiro. Now, this is where everything is going to be changed up, okay? Toshiro, Toshiro's a great character, alright? Toshiro is an amazing character. I do think he's better than Renji, only because of the fact that his strong attacks flow into each other way too well. Now, Renji's second strong attack is kind of like a little mini full screen pulse, such along the lines of Unohana Kisuke. Where's Kisuke at? There you go. Such as Kisuke's. But where Toshiro shines is the fact that he has the range to back it up. Now, 749 spiritual pressure on the high side, 638 attack, about average for these SP characters, 1005 stamina, right around the average threshold, 354 defense, a little bit on the higher side, 327 focus, about average. He is a captain, so reduced strong attack cooldown link, hollow killer makes him good for PvE. Now, I do love a Rancor killer more, and I will admit that Renji not being a captain makes him slightly better. But that being said, guys, Toshiro is still pretty good in PvP. The only reason Toshiro is not really that relevant in PvP anymore is because Unohana, like, the entire meta of PvP has just transformed into this Unohana and Bankai Rukia and Banken type thing. Like, you kind of need poise nowadays, or a shield, like Yuha Baha, for example, to really make a big impact in PvP. He still has one of the fastest activation times for his strong attack 3, so him as lead is never really a bad idea if you're hunting down Yamamoto's, or if you're hunting down like full-bring Ichigos, if people actually still use him. And I still would throw him against any Shunsui that I see, just because he's guaranteed to knock off Shunsui in terms of speed. So Shunsui gets interrupted, he can't even deal damage to the Toshiro for the most part. Now, as you can see here, the strong attack 3 for Toshiro is a full screen, deals massive amounts of damage. It might not look full screen, but he also pops this off so fast. He has freeze on all of his attacks, which in my opinion is what edges him out over Renji. Just because, like, the chance to freeze literally protects yourself. Like, a character is trying to do a special, you freeze them, there, done. completely neutralize with Debilitator for 5 seconds. Yo, freezing an enemy for 7 seconds is huge, especially in PvP, especially in Inheritance Zone, Extreme Co-op, where you kind of need to be fast. You want to get in, out as fast as possible so you don't die. Now keep in mind that the 2% probability, like I said, is probability with Frenzy is a lot higher. And then his special has a 100% chance to freeze. He does have weakened defense. Keep in mind, guys, that weakened defense and freeze gets applied on the first hit. So, for example, if you would deal 50,000 damage on the first hit, weakened defense will get applied after the fact, and then the subsequent hits will hit for like 70k. So you'll deal 50,000, and then every hit after that you'll deal like 70,000. It's insane. Like, Toshiro just deals a massive amount of damage. He doesn't have the 5% insta-kill probability, but where he does edge out, in my opinion, is the 10-second freeze. He has devastation 40% with weakened defense. It's kind of like you're slapping weakening onto him for just the special move. The weakened defense still deals a lot of... The weakened defense is like a 50% debuff in comparison to weakening, if I remember correctly. Now, keep in mind that weakened defense and weakening does indeed stack. I've tested that. Now, Frenzy, obviously, and long reach makes his NAD somewhat usable. I personally wouldn't use his NAD for anything, like he doesn't even have Bruiser. But overall, this character with a full strong attack recharge build, he literally just flows through his strong attacks. It's beautiful. His strong attack 2 is a very powerful wave that just destroys anything in front of him. And honestly, when it comes to guild quests, if there's hollows, Toshiro's getting in there, regardless of attribute advantage. Not attribute disadvantage. I would never send him against blue characters because I'm not. I might be silly, but I'm not that silly. Okay, moving on to next on the list, and this. Oh man, this is gonna. Okay. Shihoin Yoruichi. Now, I love this Yoruichi. Absolutely love this Yoruichi. And by now, I guess you can tell who my top 3 are. No, top 4 are. And we're going to get into that in a second. Now, this Yoruichi has a lot going for her. My only issue with her... You know, actually, no, I don't even have an issue with her. There's reasons why she's here instead of higher on the list, which I'll get into that in a second. Now, affiliation Soul Reaper, not a captain, which is good. Strong attack damage plus 20%, which is excellent in my opinion. 774 SP, 653 attack. Her stats are insane. Absolutely insane. They're bonkers. 1042 stamina. Relatively high defense and high focus. Hollow Killer makes her good in PvE. I don't know how she is in PvP. She didn't perform as well as I would have liked her to. I did test her and I did test Ichigo. Those videos will not be coming out because they did so bad that it literally wasn't worth putting out a video. I'm sorry. Alright, strong attack 3, full screen radius for both the strong attack 3s. Keep in mind that her special transforms her for 30 seconds. It does reset her cooldowns just like Banken, which in my opinion edges her out way above Banken just because she does have the sprinter. Now, she does have a full screen special, full screen third strong attack, transforms the character, 100% chance to paralysis on all of her attacks. She does have frenzy, so paralysis is a lot, the chance to paralyze is a lot higher. Bruiser 20%, long reach 20% makes her usable. Her NAD when she transforms is literally one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. Debilitator plus 5 seconds, so she paralyzes for 7 seconds, and she paralyzes for 10 seconds with her special. Now, paralyzing for 7 seconds is literally the same as freeze and almost the same as weakening. I love weakening personally because they only deal 1 damage, but they can still attack. Whereas paralysis, freeze, and I'm not sure if there's another one that paralyzes to an extent, like stuns. But these guys are she's such a great character. Her second strong attack and her strong attack 1 both change. As you can see, the melee damage from the strong attack is just like astronomically higher. Like, that's a huge boost with the magnifiers actually going higher as well. Even the NAD is stronger. Like, well, the NAD is just insane. I already went over the NAD. Now, she does have devastation 40%, so her special deals more damage. Debilitator, we already went over. Frenzy, we already went over. And like, yeah, I mean that's all I really gotta say. Overall, y'all did Yoruichi very well. Now, here is where things are gonna get a little hectic, because I know everyone's gonna have a different opinion, which is fine. I believe that everyone's entitled to your own opinion. 4th place, 1000-Year Blood War Ichigo, true Shikai version. Now I'm going to close all the ones that are kind of irrelevant at this point. Boom, 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 boom. And by now, I'm assuming that you guys... I can look up blood. You guys can assume who's top 3, right? Boom, boom. Now where's my Ichigo at? Okay. Ichigo Kurosaki. There we go. 1000-year Blood War True Shikai version. Now he affiliation, Soul Reaper, normal attack damage link, 1042 stamina, 771 attack, 367 defense on the high side, by the way. 336 focus, a little higher than average. Average is around like 320, 330. 626 SP, a little on the average side for a Flurry character. Now, guys, he does have an Espada killer. Every single Flurry character has an Espada or Captain killer. That's just how they are. Now, he does have Berserker of 40% and Devastation of 40%. That being said, his special does weaken defense. So with his Flurry, he just deals massive amounts of damage if you use your special. I prefer to use my special as soon as the bosses spawn and then nad them down if I'm doing single player. He has a strong attack 2, Moving Vortex, which since he's a range character, using your strong attack 2 to not only push your enemies away but trap them in a vortex that gives you combo, using your nad to just completely nad them down and annihilate them just deals not only so much damage, but they're probably already dead by the time you do that. All of his strong attacks have a chance to... all of his strong attacks can guard break. His strong attack 3 definitely guard breaks if you're in the area. Now his strong attack 1 is probably the weakest in my opinion in terms of utility. What I do love about it in Senkaimon, you can actually push your bosses. You can push the bosses to the other side of the room safely, and you can also manipulate it to the fact that when they reach the half blue bar of health, they'll use their special from the other side of the map where your Ichigo is now protected, and you don't have to worry about you no longer have to worry about the special killing you. Now, special attack is a melee, so like that's fine. Honestly, it really doesn't make a difference when the special's melee or range. Full screen radius, weakened defense, able to just deal massive amounts of damage. This character is very good at autoing as well. Like having range, I feel like making him a range character honestly just made him one of the best characters in the game. That being said, these following units are, in my opinion, not only game changing, but to an extent game breaking. And these, in my opinion, are the must-have characters for the game. I do feel like this 1000-year Blood War Ichigo is a must-have character, but these next ones are just like, oh my god, they're just game changing. They're just, oh my god, I can't even. All right, I'm trying to process my thoughts. Okay, Unohana Kisuke. Now his strong attacks might not deal the most damage in the world, but we're about to go over why this character is not only one of the strongest, but one of the best characters in the game. All right. Affiliation, Soul Reaper, not a captain, so he doesn't have the captain killer disadvantage. Reduced strong attack cooldown, so he's a strong attack recharge. Very good utility, very good crowd control. Second strong attack is a pulse. Third strong attack is a full screen attack. And his first strong attack is also one of the hardest hitting strong attacks in the game. Stamina 1042 on the high side. 642 attack, a little on the higher side. Average is 630, 640. 367 defense on the high side. High focus with 353, 770 spiritual pressure, that is literally nothing to scoff at. Scrolling down, Hollow Killer, very good in PvE. Now, long reach and bruiser of 20% makes his nad usable, in my opinion. He does have a very beautiful nad, in my opinion. Sprinter, +1. Now, devastation, 40%. Keep in mind that when you use your special, if you are host, you can clear an entire room with just his special. After that, as you can see here, one-time automatic team revival. Now, that team revival, guys, lasts until the end of the end of the co-op session. End of the co-op session, end of the room. If you're say doing if you're autoing raids and stuff like that, he's definitely going to be one of the must-haves for autoing. I know that you might want to be like, oh, full auto. You want to just click retry and prepare for quests. But I mean, if you take the extra time to just do just do a special in the beginning of the run, you effectively give 50% stamina to your entire team. Now, this automatic team revival will heal you and your entire team back to 50% health upon death, and it gets shown to you by this gold icon around your character health on the top left side of the screen. Now, as you can see here, the magnification for his strong attack 1, whopping 180%. Keep in mind that this 180% is kind of it's a little tomfoolery in my opinion, because you kind of need to be next to your, not only do you need to be next to your opponent to actually make the most use of this, but if the opponent gets pushed back, you're already losing a little bit of the magnification, and if the character does not get pushed back, you're losing some of the magnification because the range on this strong attack is very high as well. Me personally, I would go up to a boss, use my first strong attack literally in their face, or to any enemies and stuff like that to deal the most damage you possibly can. I know a lot of people were complaining, saying like, oh, his strong attack 1 doesn't deal much damage. I wish that it was a lunge. I feel like this character would have been a much better character if it was a lunge instead of this strong attack 1. But that being said, I don't think he's a bad character by any means. He does have poison resistance for some reason. I feel like they're giving these characters resistances simply so that they can be more, just so that they can actually make more hard, like so that they can make quests a lot harder. So for example, you'll want to run Bankai Rukia because she has freeze resistance for a place that has a lot of freeze puddles. You'll want to run Kisuke for like poison puddles, Ichigo for paralysis puddles, which is the thing now with Senkaimon, and weakening puddles is the thing with Senkaimon as well, which is, in my opinion, pretty cool. I love the change of Senkaimon. Now, this character, like I said, he's a must-have for co-op. If you're running Inheritance Zone, Extreme Co-op, Droplet Zone, Raids, I feel like he's going to be one of those characters that you just want in the team, because it lets you have some form of leeway, it gives you a sense of relief. And guys, normally when you're stressed out, you don't really perform your best, right? Like having a cushion of knowing, you know what, I can afford to mess up, and just like being calm, cool, and collected. I feel like Kisuke really does that for the team in a sense, especially when you're doing Inheritance Zone and Extreme Co-op, where you don't really want to die because, like, let's be real here. Once the candles that we have from this anniversary run out, we're going back to using orbs, and I don't think anybody wants to use orbs, right? Kisuke just protects you from that. So me personally, I would run Kisuke with a healer, and yeah, he's just nuts. I love this character. Absolutely love this character. I'm hoping to pull him. All right. Second on the list, we have this Ichigo. Now here's where I differentiate myself from Me Apocalypse in terms of like our number 1 and 2, because I did watch his video. I love his videos, by the way. So the thing that I love about this Ichigo is he's just ridiculous, right? Affiliation Soul Reaper, reduce strong attack cooldown, strong attack recharge link, infinite boost. If you like, okay, a lot of people were questioning infinite boost, right? What I call infinite boost is a strong attack recharge link with a team boost with enhancer. Now the enhancer enhances the buff skill by 10 seconds. All right, let's change this song now. Hold up, this is not epic enough for this Ichigo, I'm sorry. Alright, strong attack 2, 40-second cooldown, correct? Transforms character for 10 seconds, plus another 10 seconds. Team boost, right? So you have 20 seconds of transformed / boost, and then you have a 40-second cooldown. With strong attack recharge of at least 50%, you will be getting your strong attack 2 back as your buff wears out. When your buff is about to wear out, if you do your strong attack 2, you are doing a buff strong attack 2, right? Not only that, but your entire team is buffed literally the entire game if you do his strong attack 2 on cooldown. Now, moving on to his stats, 778 spiritual pressure, highest SP in the game. Waiting for the comments to say Yuha Baha, right? Alright. Yeah, I know I made that joke yesterday. Okay, leave me alone. I like it. Alright. Highest SP in the game with Frenzy, 351 focus, 354 defense on the high side on both ends, 642 attack, a little on the higher end, 1053 stamina on the higher end. Soul Reaper killer, which honestly is one of the best killers in the game, in my opinion. Sprinter, which is obvious, is standard. Bruiser, normal attack damage 20%. He doesn't have long reach, so I wouldn't personally be using his NAD very often. Devastation, special move damage 40%. Just deals massive amounts of damage. You saw his SP. Enhancer, if you're going with the infinite boost and you're using attention tie, this special move damage is not only boosted by your actual boost, but then you have the tension tie to just like absolutely annihilate, right? Now he does have paralysis and weaken resistance, which I believe was just made strictly just to counter Yuha Baha. Now let's go into this special attack. He doesn't have any status ailments at all, which I feel like I wish he kind of had one. But to be honest, I can understand it. Like, he's just a strong character. He, like, as you can see here, like, strong attack 3, 2859, 140% magnification. You ideally want to be boosted most of the time, which is why I love strong attack recharge builds. Honestly, I would love to put this character first, but the objective part of me, I can't. I literally can't. So, yeah, overall this character is an absolute insane powerhouse. I love this character so much. Like, oh, he's so gorgeous. Now, number 1 on the list, if you didn't already guess, the most broken character of all time. Okay, this character is she's just ridiculous. Now, heart attribute. Okay, I already went over why I dislike the heart, mind, flurry attribute thing. She is a captain, so she does have captain killer disadvantage. But she, okay, this is where it gets crazy. Decreased damage taken by 16%. Now that decreased damage 16%, don't let it fool you, because she has some of the highest stats in the game. 1024 stamina, 361 defense on the high side, so it makes up for the stamina being a little lower than the other Ichigo, for example. 766 attack on the high side, focus 335 on the high side, on the higher end. 620 spiritual pressure. It's okay. Now, she does have Captain Killer, which is the best killer for PvP. She is necessary for PvP. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't have her for PvP, it is very, very, very hard to rank up. It is borderline near impossible to rank up without very, very good accessories, links, preferably link slots, just max rolls, everything, right? And I think that anybody who doesn't have her can attest to that. So shout out to you in third seat that doesn't have Unohana, because it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So long reach 20% lets her NAD be insane. Berserker 30%. You're not really using her strong attacks, but her strong attacks are actually very good. Flurry increased normal attack hits, essentially doubles her damage. She's a freaking team healer, and then on top of that, her special team heal, 60% team heal. And then she has a 5% death probability, which hits multiple times, so it's more like a 10% death probability. It's full screen, high magnification. If the Unohana on the opposing team gets the soul bomb, you're probably dead. Like, that's PvP for you. Strong attack 2 is a self heal with an AoE around her, pretty good range on it as well. 30-second cooldown, but honestly, that 30 seconds, considering that she has DR, considering she has very good stats, this character doesn't want to die. She autos Inheritance Zone with not really minimal accessories, but like without gold chappies, without 10-10-10 link slots, she can usually auto Inheritance Zone as long as you're going with like a full DR build with decent links and decent accessories. Strong attack 3 is a full screen. She guard breaks with all of her attacks. Her strong attack 1 is a lunge. Her magnification for her normal attacks is 919. Like, let's go into 1000 Year Blood War Ichigo. Let's compare it to Sajin, her magnifiers. I would assume that Ichigo's is a bit higher. 766 and 919. I'm gonna scroll down. Yeah, you see, like 766, 9. Well, I'm just repeating what Unohana's is 919. So he has like slightly higher, and then Sajin, what are you at? 762 and 914, right? So she's stronger than Sajin as well. That being said, she's a DR link instead of a NAD link, but I think that we can easily give it to her. She is by far the BAMF GOAT hija de la gran masputa. She is the goddess herself, Unohana Yachiru. And she lives up to her name, ladies and gentlemen. She lives up to her name. She does everything you need her. She does everything that you want in a character. She's heart. You can take her literally anywhere except extreme co-op. You can even take her into extreme co-op when she's not the attribute boosted, because she's a team heal. Not only is she a team heal, but her special is a team heal. She's just disgusting, dude. Like, why use Raid Tsukishima if you have her in terms of extreme co-op? Ain't that right? Oh my god. Alright. I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. She's a goddess. She really is a goddess. I love her, and I'm grateful that I have her. I wish you all the best of luck in your summons, guys. These characters are some of the best characters in the game. I hope that this I hope that this list satisfies you to an extent. I already know that people are going to want to put stuff in different order. I do read all my comments, especially on videos like this. I feel like this starts up a discussion. Let me know what your list is, guys. Let me know what your list is. And I guess I will leave it at that. Y'all know what it is, guys. Grind on, catch me up, hit me up, stay blessed. I wish y'all the best of luck in your summons. And yeah, keep in mind for my community posts, I actually post quite regularly. Like, I try to keep in contact, keep them on the KLab game station and stuff like that. I'm gonna leave it at that. Bless got Jesus on my alt account. Alright, I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all know this, guys. Grind on, catch me up, hit me up, stay blessed. Wish you the best of luck in your summons, guys. I love y'all. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.